So I want to call us all together. Let's call together our two parties. Why not find the common ground, right? Because if I look at the best of the Democrats and the best of Republicans, and then I look at the worst of Democrats and the worst of Republicans, I can see a kind of a pattern. So here I'm going to lay it out for you in case this helps you to see what we need to do in the way that it does help me. What I love about Democrats is they spread this really wide net and they say, we want to include everybody. We want to include every color, every age group. We want to make sure everyone's taken care of, every ethnicity, gay people, straight people, and it's really good. That is just good. That is necessary in the country that we actually have today, right? But the negative thing about Democrats is that while they do that, they also will throw out their own candidate at the first hint of any kind of disagreement, like Biden. So Biden's doing this stellar job as a president, except for with Palestine, the Palestinian situation. That's a disaster. But everything else, right? He's gone, wow, over the top, working for the people. And the moment he stutters again or shows signs of exhaustion or his age, people in the Democratic Party destroy him and take him down completely. They did this, the Democrats did this to Hillary. I was trying to stump for her, and it was the Bernie Sanders people who she was trying to integrate their entire platform into hers, who just would disintegrate her online, and they would tell lies about her, like extreme things, like, oh, she has a pizza joint where she's a pedophile with children, like she's a murderer. I mean, and that's the thing too. Like, I just tried to put out a couple of videos supporting Kamala Harris, and the Democrats are the ones coming on there going, oh, she's just probably a puppet, she's not real. Not even Republicans. So the Democrats are not loyal to their own people. So much of the time they just fight amongst themselves and undo whatever energy they gather, because otherwise the Democrats would be fine, because they actually there's so many more Democrats than Republicans. But let's look at Republicans. The amazing thing about Republicans is you guys, you come together. I mean, you are loyal to your candidates. You don't pull the rug out from under them the last minute or while they're doing their job. You stay loyal, and you will follow what they inspire you to do. And this is a very great quality. This is good. This is family values. It's sort of like you treat your candidate as part of your family, and you believe in them, and you stay with them in the hard times. That is good, But let's look at the negative side of what Republicans tend to do, which is to be so loyal that even when that candidate shows signs of being a debauched person with terrible values and hate-filled agendas, you guys stay loyal no matter what, without questioning them. And what you do, since you're all good people who are not actually hate-filled, is that you assume that anything ever told about your candidate or shown about their history that is very negative is a lie, because you're staying loyal to your candidate, right? So anything that comes up is just not true. So there we go. So those are both that's just really bad to follow blindly. That's just bad. And the Democratic thing of undermining their own candidate constantly. Are they going to do that to Kamala next? Like, who are they going to do it to next? That's just bad. So we need to learn from each other. We need to balance each other out. We need each other's gifts. And really, if you think about, what do Republicans want? What do Democrats want? It's all the same thing. Just like Viktor Frankl wrote that whole book about when he came out of having survived the Holocaust, and he wrote about nonviolent communication. He showed that when people are fighting and are extreme enemies, They're fighting over the way to solve problems, but not what they want to solve, because everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants, clean water and a roof over their head that is affordable, and better wages, and to be able to rest and take vacations, and for their children to have education, and for healthcare to be available and affordable, and for all of their family members and friends to be equally free to express themselves, to have freedom of speech. Everybody wants the same things, right? But people argue about how it's going to be accomplished. So the one party will say, well, it's through this really conservative agenda of you give more tax breaks to the rich and then it'll trickle down. And then a more liberal stance will be, no, you tax the richest of the rich and no more trickling on people. You empower people, and you create all kinds of programs that are in the structure of the government itself that's supporting and taking care of people. And then the other party says, well, we don't believe in government. We just sort of want an anarchy because government's corrupt. But then in anarchy, what happens is fascism. And so the only way to keep that from happening is to basically start being more in control of your government. And that's another great thing about Republicans, because Republicans, you guys go out, you get all the little, you run for offices like sheriff, like county clerk, like school board. You guys get yourselves everywhere. You create a radio show that goes all across the Midwest, and Democrats have never done that. There's not even one out of, 148 Republican radios going across the Midwest stations. There's not even one Democratic one. I mean, that's the idiocy of Democrats. So arrogant that they don't even consider to speak to the other side. So I'm like, we could come together, if we just see that we really are wanting the same things, mainly. I mean, I think Republicans, you probably want the environment taken care of. I know that some of you don't believe anymore that there is even a climate problem, and some of you believe that that's just made up, and others think that it's just an ice age coming. But either way, there's things that can be done that would slow down cutting of trees and taking over our national parks, and a lot of things that I'm sure you enjoy: horseback riding and being able to go camping with your family to these great, parks, and we can just sort of say that green energy, where it might be a place that we disagree, if you Republican family thinks that it's just not viable to get off of fossil fuels and coal, but if you could be offered a job, many jobs for your whole family that are really well paying without having to have a whole lot of skills, you might feel better about the whole move to green energy. Because like I'm a person without those kind of skills for a more high paying job, but I did solar for a while, and it was wonderful. It changed my whole life. Even this wonderful camper that I have is because of the solar. The land I bought was because of the solar. The travels I've done were because of selling solar. And so your family could be lifted up and really fast, with some of these, 15 million new jobs in green industry that Biden has put forth. And more to come, right? More to come. And I think that the working man, like all the working men and women, I loved it that Biden went and he walked with a picket line, and he stood with the the workers' union. That's really cool, But you and me, we know that to really change this country, we do have to stay democratic. We do have to be able to vote in people that represent us and our needs and agendas. That's a common ground. So if you can acknowledge that there is a lot of gerrymandering going on, a lot of trying to block people from vote by the Republican Party, and some of that might be because there's a lot less Republicans. Actually, it's 24%, whereas the rest of everybody is Democratic or undecided or liberal or something else, right? So that's why your party is some of the leaders that are corrupt have been trying to block voting rights of a lot of Democrats. Or of anybody, because if they blocks Democrats, it blocks Republicans too. So we could probably come together on the New Deal that Biden is trying to put through before he leaves, about really making it a law that you cannot block people's votes. There's so many things we agree on. There's so many things we all need that we can all just start to understand that this is a time of unity. This needs to become one anyway. And don't stand by your candidate if he's cruel and hateful. And Democrats, please stand by Kamala. If you're going to stand by somebody, at least stand by her. I mean, come on. How much more can you ask for from a human being? And let's just stop saying cruel things about any candidate unless they've proven themselves to be, well, a criminal. So, I really want you to consider, I know that if you're a Democrat, you're freaked out by the cruelty of Trump. And if you're a Republican, you're freaked out by the assumption that he was ever guilty in the first place. But if you could see that the actual policies, whether or not you believe that Trump had done any of those things, you can look up his Project 2025 doctrine, which is an insanely destructive plan for you, for me, for our lives, for our children's futures, right? It really is. You really need to see it, because if you take away who's a Democrat, who's a Republican, and you just go by what is the candidate offering you, what is their plan for the country, do they have a grounded plan for how your healthcare situation is going to be affordable? Do they have a plan for how you are going to fund the education of your children, or not have to fund it? Wouldn't it be nice if we could just be like Canada and all these other countries that actually, Mexico, that has free college, Why are we such Neanderthals here? It's just because we're divided, really. We've been so slow. We haven't put through so many things that we could have changed by now because we're divided. So if you Republicans can be so strong by staying loyal and uniting, then imagine what would happen if all of us, both parties, liberals and Democrats and undecideds, all come together and just say, let's just fix this country. Let's fix it. It's a great, amazing country, but we have so much to fix. Higher wages, lower rents, more ability to get bank loans to buy houses, better jobs, all kinds of things we can do. We can do it.